Hey, yo, peace world. It's the Love King Raheem DeVaughn. And you know I got soul, yeah.
All right, I got so here live with Raheem DeVaughn. Really excited to have you here.
What up, what up?
Just want to get started talking about this ChrossRhodes project. We've been really excited about it, Footprints on the Moon. Just talk about the creation of that a little bit.
Oh, man, me and Wes, man, we had something that's kind of just like magical, universal when it comes to creating art together. And, something that we've done for many moons together. And, the album is just really inspired by the Baltimore uprisings, St. Louis uprisings, really the sign of the times, the Trump administration. A lot of the album was done and completed, before Trump went into office. And, once he was elected, we kind of realized that it was actually a blessing in disguise for us in terms of the content and the things that we were talking about, and things that we've seen transpire since he's been in office, pertaining to America and the culture and just our people and equality and all people.
Right.
So that's the inspiration, man. From the police brutality that we encounter, as individuals in this country, lack of jobs, lack of support, the prison, the finance and print, the prison, the private prison industry. So many things we kind of just go on and on that we discuss and talk about on this album. And then it's also Black love, So we deal with some of the toughest issues that we face just as Black men, in the culture of hip hop and R&B and Like we just kind of like really pick it apart. It's like we can't, sometimes we so quick to point the fingers at other individuals and other races, and blame them for our misfortunes. But we definitely on this album we pulled out our report card and kind of chin checked ourselves in terms of like how we can be better. Things that we can do better. I think we really accomplished that with the lyrics and the content on this album.
Absolutely. Now, selfishly as a fan, I kind of wanted to hear another Raheem DeVaughn R&B album just because you've built such tremendous momentum over the last couple of projects.
Yeah.
And, in a time when R&B is struggling, you've really maintained who you are and you've brought your sound to the table. How necessary was it for you to create this project as opposed to releasing another Raheem DeVaughn R&B album?
This album was important. As artists, the fans got to understand that we're messengers. Like I'm deeper than most. So, and with that being said, I got a catalog of great, R&B music that I'm sitting on. Putting out the solo album, which would be my solo album number 5, album number 6. If you want to include the ChrossRhodes album. But it was important to get this message out. It was bigger than me. I hope that people hear this album, 20, 30 years, 50 years from now. It's time capsule. Like people can kind of go back and understand where history, when they talk about history and what was going on at that time. This album is like a soundtrack for that. You know what I mean? So that's why it was so important to get the message out.
Right. Now let's talk about your upcoming project. You mentioned you have a whole catalog full of songs that you're ready to put out. What can we expect on the next project and when?
The album would be called Decade of a Love King. I'm screaming bonafide classic. I got a couple of features on there. It's all people that I have a relationship with. I kept it very homegrown. All my features are from artists from, out of the DC area. Phil Ade, Chaz French, Fat Terrell, my artist Macy as well. And I wanted to kind of create this fusion of new Millennial Soul, what I'm known for, but also what remind people what R&B is known for and what the culture is known for, soul music is known for. I think I created the perfect gumbo of that, for all the music lovers out there that have been like a huge fan of and supporters of my mixtapes in the past. I think that this is going to be the album they compare closest to like the mixtapes that I put out, because I've always heard like people like the mixtapes, the original mixtapes, like that could have been an album. Yeah. Like why you should just put that as an album. So this album is like it's driven. It has a drive of a mixtape, but it has the depth and the penmanship, of an album. And I think that it's a perfect. I think it's a perfect fusion of new millennial and quote unquote soul music.
It's really interesting that you mentioned this millennial sound that's going on. I've noticed a trend in urban AC right now. Not only, of course, you're a core artist on urban AC, but I'm starting to notice a lot of the younger R&B artists are starting to appear on urban AC, like a Daniel Caesar, like a Khalid. Just have you noticed that as well? And is that
Oh
threatening
yeah,
to
man,
you
I
a
think
little
it's
bit?
great. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when I think about Daniel Caesar in particular, like it reminds me of what I mean, the '90s. You know what I mean? A lot of the artists, they grew up, or they've been, obviously they're students. You can tell that they're students of the culture. You know what I mean? So when I hear Daniel Caesar, I hear elements of like John B. I hear elements of like R&B music, Soul Child, and you know what I mean. What's the other little cat that's on Cash Money? Singing cat, man. He doing his thing. Um, man, his name come to me in a minute. But he kind of remind me of like a young Donnell Jones.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's cool. Like, history repeats itself. You know what I mean? Like, we had those comparisons where people compare me to like Marvin Gaye or this cat or that cat. Like, I could kind of hear it, but when you look at the whole package, you know what I mean? There's something that's very original about it too. You know what I mean? Like just the fusion of the style and the dress and the video and you know what I mean? All of that makes a difference. You know what I mean? When you talk about like new millennial soul, the younger artists now, like they got the full package, man. Like there's some of these cats are shooting their own videos
Right.
and the whole nine, adding it, doing the editing and you know what I mean? So it's cool to watch. You see it all unveil. I think that there's space and opportunity for every great artist out there. Whether you're talking, the urban format, the urban AC format. Sometimes for artists like ourselves that are just uber talented, like it kind of pigeonholes you.
Do you think it's a little concerning that these younger artists are moving in that urban AC format? Like, where does that leave you guys?
Nah, not at all. Like, I mean, it leave me where I'm at. I mean, in my mind, I'm at the top of what I do. I'm one of the best at what I do. You know what I mean? For this generation, for the culture. So, it's great. You know what I mean? Again, gives me opportunity to keep my chops, stay up. I got some wonderful remixes and beat jacks and stuff like that coming. You know what I mean as well. So, but yeah, I think it's great. It's room out there. You know what I mean for our genres of music. And now when you talk about radio, really, the platform is still very useful. For what we use it for. But really, radio is the last place people are going to get their outsourcing of music is terrestrial radio. You know what I mean? So, if people want great music, they're going to find it. Like, it's right in your smartphone.
Right. Now, we made a post on Instagram not too long ago. You actually participated in it. We had mentioned that there was a lack of live shows going on in R&B, no more bands behind the shows, a lot of track shows going on. You participated in it. There's just not a lot of support going on. The promoters aren't paying. Just talk about the life of an R&B
like
artist
tonight,
there.
like tonight, for example, I'm rocking with the DJ tonight. You know what I mean? 2 days from now, I'm in Punta Cana with the band. You know what I mean? So it really is just, as an artist, this is what we do. We're real artists. You got to be prepared. People, promoters. They have what they call a budget, and they know what they want. You know what I mean? And I give them what they want. I give them what they request. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm gonna give the crowd what they want, whether it's with a banjo and a congo or whatever I have. The end's gonna justify the means. You know what I mean? Whatever I have access to. Whether it's a DJ, full band, acoustic, whatever. I just want to give my all. If it's 50 people in the room, I want to make it feel like it's 5,000 or 5,000. I want, whoever's in the room, I want them to feel like we in an arena, stadium, killing it. You know what I mean?
Now, do you feel like it still makes sense to release and make albums at this point? You have a catalog. You don't necessarily need to. I know a lot of artists who do make albums, they do it so that they can tour, but you don't need to do that anymore.
I got a lot of, for me, and when I'm known, people tend to like when I drop an entire body of work. You know what I mean? And give them, EP ain't enough, for the OGs out there. They need something, you know what I'm saying? If you're a 2-minute brother, then you probably can appreciate an EP from me. But if you like to, get it in, you know what I'm saying? Like, we call it driving music, So I want to give you a good 12, 15, 16, maybe even 17, depends, And you're going to hit that hump where it's called the hump. because it's like hump music, so it's like the back, the back, the back, the back. I learned that from Jodeci and Devontae and them, where they had that, You'll have that, Diary of a Mad Band, where it was like those 5, 6 slow songs back to back, Boys and Men as well. You know what I mean? They kind of set the trend for that, I think. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, EPs are cool. I'll be dropping some EPs in the near future, but it's all really about the concept and for me. And, I like to stretch out. I want to give you something you can stretch out to.
Right. Now, I think it's so interesting right now in R&B, like you mentioned, it is a big gumbo, a lot of different sounds coming in. There's not necessarily a formula or recipe for success anymore. I see Tank doing more of a trendy sound, and that hit #1 on Urban AC. Bruno Mars did a throwback album that's #1. And then, of course, we have the stuff that you're doing, the stuff that Tyrese is doing that's more, I guess, traditional R&B. Do you think at this point there is a formula for success?
I think everyone has their own formula. You know what I mean? It's really about your vision and your idea of who you are in your head. And, if you don't know who you are in this culture, people will tend to, the corporations will either dictate it to you, or you'll be misunderstood by your following, you know what I mean? So you got to, and you got to be careful where it doesn't appear that you're all over the place, you know what I'm saying? I think what's happened for Tank is great, and it's great for me. It's great for the R&B, it's great for the culture. Because you get it, when once you hit a certain age, they try to sometimes slide you, they want to put you in this pile, in this lane. And for him in particular, I just remixed the When We record, you know what I mean? And I saw him, that's the homeboy, that's the homie from, you know what I'm saying, from whatever I say, hey, Tank, don't put no more remixes out without me on them.
Right.
And he laughed. I'm a fan of the record, you know what I'm saying, typically a fan of the artist. And, hell, man, if people, 50,000 people download that version, like it just boosts the culture in the R&B and you know what I'm saying, in support of the record. So it is what it is, man. Like, I think that you're responsible for your lane.
Right.
You dictate what you want to do. I used to be when people say, man, you're doing too much, you're moving too fast. It's like, nah, you're not moving fast enough. Keep up. You know what I mean? It's a lot to talk about. It's a lot of ways to express yourself. It's a lot of things to be involved in. I work with everybody from UGK to the other spectrum of it, like Boney James. You know what I mean? Two totally opposite ends of the world, but that's why we call it music.
Absolutely. And then just finally, of course, there was a huge debate going on Twitter, social media about Bruno Mars and that whole situation. What's your take on it, being that you're a student of R&B?
I think Bruno Mars has kind of always been slept on. I think he's a great artist. I think he takes, like myself, each album is very conceptual. You know what I mean? I feel like he's had albums where he said, yeah, this album, I want to be a rock star. This album, I want to go into my 90s time machine. You know what I'm saying? And when music felt good, I want something that feels like, that Babyface catalog, that, you know what I mean? So, it's really about just being an artist. I think too many times we want to take something and say it's ours.
Yep. You
know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, man, none of this shit belong to us. Like, you know what I mean? It's a gift that comes from the creator. It comes through us. We're all inspired by somebody. You have to aspire to inspire. And, one thing about him, man, every time he has a team that he always brings the team out. You know what I mean? And he has a formula that works for him. And it's great. It's great music, man. It's entertaining, great performer. You know what I mean? I think the agendas of where they take our culture and kind of strip it, it don't have nothing to do with necessarily with him.
Right.
Like, you can't blame him for just wanting to be great and making something dope. I mean, what would we say if he put out a bad album? It'd be whack. It was a great fucking album.
Right.
You know what I mean? So great music is great music,
And then I guess the response to a lot of the haters right now is just support the artist that you do like.
Oh yeah, definitely support everything you do like, be a student of it. But most importantly, yeah, you have a choice, Every day it's kind of cool. The world is so big that every day somebody discovers my music for the first time. And I'm cool, and I'm cool with that,
Right.
But there's level to it, and definitely when this album drops, like we coming back hard with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And then finally, we had this debate going on our podcast actually about fans who, might support you while you're on tour versus fans that actually go out and buy your new record. Is there a level of importance to you on what matters more to you personally?
Well, I mean, buying it, streaming it. Now it's about streaming, but there's a large fan base that still buys CDs and that buys my music. You know what I mean? The merch is always rocking. You know, when we bring physical copies, they buy them. So it's a testament that people still want it. But I think the main focus for artists right now, focus on making the best quality art that you can make. And then you just facilitate it. You put it out in all forms of fashion: vinyl, CDs, digital platforms, streaming, whatever, and welcome it all. The culture is constantly changing, and in terms of technology and where the game is going is constantly changing.
Cool. That's all that I've got for you. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Oh man, Love King forever. Check out the new album coming soon, June/July. The new single, Don't Come Easy. You know what I mean? Can't wait for y'all to hear that. It's real soulful, real fly. And, a decade of a Love King coming soon, man. That's what it is. Check out the new album as well. Shout out to my partner in crime, Wes Felton. The ChrossRhodes, Footprints on the Moon, available on all digital platforms right now. Follow me on social media at Raheem_DeVaughn. Love life.